In a month, we are going to enter the Advent, prepare for Christmas. It is about Jesus, but it is not just about Jesus, it is also about the mother who brought this Jesus to birth. And in this, where we can connect all those things we have spoken, is it? But the hardships, the demands on demands with disobedience, the questions that can arise. I'm just trying to summarize all that we spoke. The questions that can arise, and at the same time, not feeling of the pain when your heart is focused on higher things or greater rewards or the end part, not the little steps. Little steps make it difficult. So understanding this, I would say if we can understand the humility of this Mary, the obedience that has gone into, who was responsible to give birth, you can say birth to obedience and birth to humility. What I'm saying is, I can personalize it with Jesus, personify that Jesus' life and his spirit is the culmination of Mary's obedience and humility, which becomes the focus. So it's not like, it did not remain like a virtue in the life of Jesus. There was no separation between his life and this virtue. So it is like, you can call Jesus humility, or you can call Jesus obedience itself. Because it was to such an extreme, that is what we relate or narrate, that he humbled himself so much that he gave up his form, took up the human form, obedient, remained obedient unto death, even death on the cross. Therefore God has highly exalted him. So that's what I said, whether it's obedient, whether it's obedience or whether it's humility, it always gets credited into your deposit account. It is always paid back. There is a misunderstanding that we can go along with humility part. That humbling ourselves or making ourselves humble, it's like I'm making myself like dirt. It's not. It is accepting yourself as the real you are. Not putting on extra coat and extra layers. I'm not speaking of the winter layers. Extra layers of glory, pride. This is me, and this is me. Something what needs to be yours should be yours. Something what needs to be God should be God's. So it's the humility which brings these two aspects in order. You start realizing that this is my contribution. I did this, but there was a backup of God. There was working of God together with the humility. So we try to wait. So this is like Advent means waiting. It's a time of waiting. So it's not just waiting for, I would say not just waiting for the second coming or the final coming. We never know how many times God may come, or Jesus may come, or Jesus may approach us. And we never know how many times he must have come and gone without getting a good response. Because he is not going to come as expected. That is what happened 2,000 years back. And since he did not come as expected, some don't want to believe, even now. Because that did not solve their purpose, that did not fulfill the way they were expecting. Could we also belong to that type of group? When Jesus comes, because know that Jesus always defies the nature's working, defies man's thinking or planning. That's the reason sometimes we may feel God doesn't like our plan. If we plan something, He has something else to teach us. That could be helping us to humble ourselves. And that's the reason I stress it every now and then. You have your plan ready, you have your tomorrows ready, exactly mark what you are going to do at what hour. Where is the place for God to work? So there should be little. I'm not asking you not to plan. That would be just going with the fall leaves if you don't have any plans. Keep the plans, but seek also God's intervention in those remaking or restructuring of the plans. What exactly is right? Is this right to do at 3 o'clock, or it is better to do at 11 o'clock? So that is what I meant, allowing God to work on our plans. Because know that you cannot feed God in your plans and say, this is the time I'm going to give you, this is the time I'm going to meet you. Either do it at this time or no. So there should be like at some time, okay, I have a free time. I was just speaking to someone yesterday. Offering up your time is, it's a gift of God. I was having a discussion with someone. So I'm saying it once again. Offering up your time is a gift of God. It is not given to everybody. Someone who could be busy only for 2 hours a day will not entertain you and say, I'm busy, sorry, I can't do that. But someone who is busy even for 20 hours or 18 hours will still say, no, I can get it done. So it is that offering of one's time, it has no bounds. So it is a gift given to that individual person. So it's like people like to blog, is it? So I don't mind. I am not asking you to be like 24 hours available, but the same mentality can play with God. The same demand can be put before God as well. I have this little time. The rest of the time, I need to just go around the city, driving. No definite work, but I just like to enjoy the road. So we have all those things. That's the reason I was asking you in the past, when we say busy, what is that busy? Are you going to give that CPR to someone? Yes, you can say you are busy. Is someone going to leave because of your busy schedule? Yes, you are busy. But if something can be delayed tomorrow, or maybe sometimes not important at all in life, cut it off. Because we get used to that word's busyness, where the word is considered everything is important and busy. Especially, take care, don't imitate me because I have this something. Don't get tempted with all these gadgets. That is the profit and the business of a company. Only if you need, and you don't need the modern generation phone. You don't need a modern generation tablet which is just coming yesterday, or the phone that is released just today. You see something in the news, oh, there's upgrade come, so I have to dispose this off. So I'm just going off track with the temptation. Sorry, but take care that these things don't get prioritized more than God. So when it comes to that trust, which I said, and obedience is so closely related, it is important in our daily lives. Still trusting God when things don't go well. I obeyed God and this is what has happened. You must have obeyed God. I'm making the difference now. You must have obeyed God and lost the trust. You must have obeyed God and felt now, it's not working. I simply obeyed God. It's useless. Once you understand that this was God's call coming to me, or God's voice that came to me, I will obey it and I don't care what happens. That should be the trust going together with obedience. If 5 people or 10 people or 100 people tease you or mock you and make fun of what you have done, if you have really taken up as obedience to God, stay strong for that. So that trust and obedience usually go hand in hand. It's almost like joined together. And this comes to the different things. Is it when it comes to our promptings, what God asked of us, when it comes to children, what my child is going to do now. Someone is like not behaving well. The child seems to be not practicing the faith. The child is getting into all this like a low grade. Child is not coming to the church. Child is not doing as I care. So in all this, 1, obedience required. Number 2, trust. God is going to make this happen. Whatever I am seeking or whatever I am desiring, God will get it done. I need to pray. Because sometimes more than we say or more than our words, prayers can work wonders. Your words may only change the mind of the person or the intelligence of the person, but the prayers can change both mind and the heart as well. So that is where I'm saying that obedience and trust is equally important to go hand in hand. When I lose the status, I always used to write employed. Now I have to write unemployed because I have been laid off. Don't see just that outer coat of unemployment. Is God testing you? Can you still be firm? Can you still be strong in that trust? Can you still think that your obedience is yielding fruits? But slowly, God will make it happen. I gave one retreat. Some of you could be present about the Bartimaeus opening up the eyes of the blind, which you can remember the story forever. That is the only story and the only unsuccessful miracle of Jesus with one shot. Miracle doesn't end at one time. It doesn't mean you are seeking God's intervention. The miracle is going to take place now. It may start and end only after some time or after some months and after some years. The Bartimaeus is saying, I can't see. I just see like all of blur. And Jesus touches again. So that was one part of the faith retreat, the background of the faith. So know that miracles may not always start and end at the same minute. Instantaneous. They may start, but your faith needs to accompany them. Okay, I still know that you can do it, I still know you can do it, and you are doing it, but not right now. It will happen. I need to continue trusting you. That is one of the major story and the healing in the gospel which can accompany you when things doesn't go your way. When you feel like God is not acting, God is not responding. And more so like what we'll go through now with ill health, abandonment. We feel at times not just the human people, those who are around us, they have left us alone. Even God has left us alone. So understand that Mary's, if we were in Mary's place, God said, this is my son, or this is like a son of God. Is this what God is doing? Could have been the question. Is this the assurance that God is at work in allowing these different things to happen? Could He not just make us to fly in the air and avoid the difficulties instead of walking for 70 miles? So the different question, is this what God's Son is when no one is accepting? God could not have worked through them in making His Son comfortable? He could not have him a nice place, comfortable place, at least for a little baby who is so fragile and vulnerable? So many questions should have come in Mary's mind. If this is God's Son, really, why I don't see God accompanying? And what it must have been, that I see it as an assurance. Magi, angels, maybe uplifting the spirit. Okay, now I understand. This is what his life is. So there is suffering, wiping of the tears at one side, and there is also that accompanying you, how God is accompanying you without failure. Yeah, that obedience even, it comes both, a lot of point comes in both obedience and humility to go middle of the night and flee to Egypt. Obedience, listening to Joseph, I have to do it. You can imagine those hands. Yeah, I have to do it. That's the only way I have to save this child. So fleeing to Egypt, see all this like overnight thing, the things are made, it's not like get up and go, and I had something, it's not like there is a wait period for Mary. Did God ask you in your dream to, this could be nice, did God ask you in your dream to flee Egypt? Are you sure about your dream? Asking Joseph. Or are we going to simply waste our time and energy walking from one country to another in the middle of the night and with a baby who is newly delivered? So understand all these things, but there is that humility and faith that is going. So the first humility part is, I am the handmaid of the Lord, be it done to me according to thy word. There's this, like my hand goes this way, there's this type of picture at the St. Peter's Church, where Mary is like this. She's stunned. She's stunned with the angel before. And at the same time, it's like, I'm ready. I'm okay. So there are questions. I'm not asking you not to question. Question as much as possible, because that will give you an answer. The more you are questioning, it shows the more interested you are. But also wait for that final answer, and when the final answer comes, be ready to have that acceptance, obedience. Okay, now I get it. And as Putanshin said, it's not disclosing to you the entire thing, the whole of the plan. No, could be one dot. This is what you do, this is what I expect. So, another part which can come in both obedience as well as humility. So when there is humility,